Rivals.com here with 2022 tight end Bennett Christian from Alatoona High School. Double-digit offers, some big-time schools coming after you. You narrowed it down to really turn your focus on to 3 schools.
My top 3 schools are Ohio State, Penn State, and Tennessee.
All right, Bennett, down to 3 schools: Ohio State, Penn State, Tennessee. Just in general, how'd you get down to these 3 schools?
Well, really just the relationship with the coaches so far. I mean, the tradition. Really, I can see myself fitting in as a tight end as these 3 schools with most on offers right now.
Let's start with Ohio State, Bennett. Obviously, the Buckeyes, rich tradition there. You've always had them on your list from the get-go, even before the offer. Talk about why Ohio State appeals to you.
Well, really, before I got to high school, Ohio State was one of those schools that was always on top of my list, and really because Ohio State is just one of those teams that always got to win. They're always going to be up there near the top. I mean, me and Coach Wilson, Coach Hennon, Coach Fleming had a really good relationship growing up there. I mean, it's one of those schools I can really see myself fitting in as a tight end, and they're definitely really high on my list for those reasons.
Well, what's been their message to you about what they like about you, how you fit in there, things like that?
Really, the main thing they like about me is how I'm really a complete tight end. I'm good at everything, as in blocking and receiving. So really, that's the main thing feedback I get from Ohio State.
Let's talk about Penn State. Obviously, you have a connection there. Talk about that first, the connection, and why Penn State's in your final 3.
Okay, so basically my uncle Greg played up at Penn State under Coach Paterno in the mid-'70s. Really, that connection up there is really just maybe like Happy Valley. The coaches up there are fantastic. It's a great tradition, 106,000 capacity stadium. Wide out, something different. So really, Penn State is just one of those schools who I know is going to use the tight end really well, according to stats. So, I mean, really just having that is really one of those reasons Penn State's in my top 3.
Who's the coach you're closest to on that Penn State staff, and maybe what's his message to you about why they're the right school?
Coach Bowen, and he's the main reason is because he thinks that they're going to take my steps, they're going to advance my game up higher than any other school could.
Then third, because of alphabetical order, is Tennessee. You know, obviously your heart's been there in Knoxville for a long time. Your father played there. Talk about that first of all, if that has any influence on I guess, the top 3, and then ultimately your decision.
I got you. So really growing up, I was a group of UT fans, so having that connection to Tennessee with my dad's really had me get up on campus a lot. And really just being a fan my whole life is really just one thing. It's now I have that offer, man. I have an opportunity to be the place where I grew up a fan. So really I have a connection with Coach Ozovit. He's a great guy, and trying to see where I can fit in as a tight end in that school is really good. Taking
your father out of the equation, what else about Tennessee, stands out to you?
Man, those fans are crazy. He doesn't like the UT fans, considering the fact I was one for such a long time. But really, that fan aspect, just the family aspect of Tennessee, and that's really the main thing besides the coaching staff and the connections and stuff.
You got the Buckeyes, Nittany Lions, and Vols. Bennett, what's the next step for you?
Really, the next step for me is just to get up to all these campuses here in the next month or so, or even less. Kind of see where I feel at home with all these schools. I mean, really, location for me is not a problem. I don't care if I went to Alaska, down to Argentina. I probably see that location's not a problem with me. Really, just looking for a school where I feel at home, where the coaching staff I know is, going to be there for me. And really, that's the main thing I'm looking for is the next step.
Now, you got it down to 3. Mm-hmm. When do you want to get it down to 1? Do you have a timeline in mind?
Really, whenever it feels right, and that could be tomorrow or a year from now. Whoever knows, whenever I know, I'll know, and that's when I'll make the decision.